Here's a question we don't ask enough. What's the actual plan for the African slum? I'm not talking about the photo op plan, not the NGO's 5-year proposal with smiling kids on the cover. I mean a real plan, the one that moves a family from a leaking dirty tin shack to a brick house they own. Because right now, slums in Africa aren't disappearing, they're multiplying. And if we're honest, most development isn't designed to replace them, it's designed to manage them. And here's why. African slums are useful. They're cheap labor pools for the city. They're also cheap votes for politicians. They're cheap to ignore, and they're profitable to exploit. But what happens when a slum stops being a slum? When it becomes a neighborhood with owners, not squatters? When the residents aren't just surviving, they're investing? That's the part no one is ready for. Because once you flip a slum into a functioning microeconomy, it no longer fits into the script of Africa the needy. This isn't theory. We've seen pieces of it work before. Look at Medellin's transformation in Colombia, where dangerous barriers turned into hubs of small businesses. Look at Kigali's urban upgrade programs, where informal settlements were rebuilt without pushing people out. Look at how parts of Soweto turned into thriving townships with local-owned malls and businesses. The pattern is there, but Africa's diaspora can take it further and own it. Yes, African diaspora, it's time for you to invest in Africa's slums. It starts with one simple principle. We stop treating the poor as beneficiaries and start treating them as shareholders. And here's how it would work. We, the African diaspora, would build small, solid, affordable homes, solar power on the roof, clean water from a shared system. Every brick, every door frame, every nail, made by the local hands that live in these slums. Instead of rent disappearing into a landlord's pocket, every payment goes into a community fund. And from this community fund, it pays investors their agreed return. It builds the next homes. It opens the next shop and funds the next school. Here's the $1 million question. How do you, Africans in the diaspora, benefit from this? Your capital builds the first homes. Tenants pay an affordable monthly amount. Part of it covers maintenance, part repays your capital, and part is profit. The profits are split. You get a payout, and a percentage is reinvested into building the next rounds of homes. Here's the kicker. When new homes are built, you automatically receive a proportional stake in those too, without putting in more money. Over time, your ownership spreads across multiple housing clusters, shops, and schools that were built from the original seed investment. Why does this matter? Most investments end when you get your money back. This one grows your footprint. Your returns come from multiple projects as the cycle expands. You stay a co-owner of the entire microeconomy you helped launch. And in 5 years, you haven't just funded one neighborhood. You've built a network of neighborhoods, each one sending you a slice of their profits while lifting entire communities from poverty into stability. Every dollar from the diaspora speeds up the cycle. It multiplies the projects and keeps wealth circulating locally, while your ownership keeps compounding. Why is this revolutionary? Because this isn't charity. It's a closed-loop upgrade system. The diaspora money fuels the first build, local enterprises keep it running, and because it's self-funded after launch, there's no pull-the-plug moment when donors get bored. It breaks the dependency chain, it stops the forever poor narrative, and it says we can build a future without asking people for permission. And here's the part that really scares the system. It's scalable. From Kibera to Kayole, from Makoko to Mathare. We copy, we paste, and we own. I want you to sit down and imagine thousands of these self-sustaining neighborhoods across Africa. Former slums turned into tax-paying, business-owning, voting blocks that can't be bribed with sacks of rice by these politicians. An economy that doesn't wait for foreign investors to discover it. That's when Africa stops being a resource pit and becomes a marketplace the world has to respect. So before I go, the world doesn't fear an Africa in poverty. It fears an Africa that fixes its poverty without them. An Africa that transitions from shark to shareholder and from shareholder to owner of its destiny. Because the day we stop being a charity case is the day we stop being controllable. Let's move.